Last night, ensconced in the Buffalo suite where Jason Kelsey took his shirt off, a select group of students, academics, and someone who gets Chipotle every day fought and toiled and burnt the midnight oil to make the best segment in all of sports media. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for a moderately short, abridged, succinct Knicks Tears.
Yes, but unlike, the first cousin of the tiers, the herd hierarchy, we're not going to abandon it just because we would finally have to have the Chiefs ahead of the Bills and just scotch the entire segment and claim it's because there's only 4 teams left. I saw you do it, Colin. I was very disappointed. Well, the committee met. The committee ranked these 4 teams, and then we had a little extra bonus at the end. Bottom of the tier, same old Niners. That is the Niners. Do you have a healthy quarterback? Guess what? You make the NFC Championship game. That's how it's worked with Kyle Shanahan when they've had a healthy quarterback. And if in the NFC Championship game you can manage to not have to throw the football, you can make the Super Bowl. But at some point, no matter how good the one year they did was the year, of course, Jimmy threw the ball 8 times. They won by 17 points. Maybe that can be the game plan against the Lions, but usually at some point your quarterback in this round or the next is going to have to make a play. That's why they don't have any jewelry to go along with them, but maybe Bruce Wright, they're not the same old Niners, and maybe Brock Purdy can continue his awesome season as a less than awesome player with an awesome Super Bowl. We shall see. Underrated and under-discussed, the Lions. We are guilty of it, under-discussing this team. We are not now, the we of the committee, not guilty of underrating the Lions. We did a little research. In Week 7, they were Tier 2. They were Tier 3 in Week 11. They were called scary in real life. They were called Final Four upside. They were even called Super Bowl contenders. But despite all of that, the Lions seem to be a team that has been considered cute and cuddly, a good story, but not a real championship contender, despite the fact that they started the season going into a team stadium that a lot of very smart people thought was going to win every single game of the year, and they beat them. I mean, probably the best team.
What?
I mean, they're probably the best team, guys. There's not really an argument against it. They had the best record. They have the league MVP. They have an excellent offense. They have an excellent defense. They have an excellent head coach. Right.
My take from yesterday.
And guess what, Drew? There are members of the committee, no matter what I tell them, that think you're the smartest guy on the show. I don't know what they're watching, but they like a lot of your takes. And they remind me of another team that checked all those boxes. The best record, the arguable MVP candidate. In fact, they also wore purple. And that was we got across sports a couple decades ago, but the 2002 60-plus win Sacramento Kings. And of course, who they ran into, the 0-2 Lakers. That was going to try to get their 3rd championship, trying to cement the dynasty. They were the 3 seed after being the 1 seed so often. They had to go on the road for their toughest series was, of course, their conference finals. Some people even make officiating hijinks accusations. But at the end of the day, what happened was they had Shaq, Kobe, and Phil. So at the end of the day, you have Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed. That is the conference championship tiers, Greg Jennings.
Wow. I absolutely want to vomit looking at those.
Ooh, look at Greg.
That is terrible.
Beef on that side.
Why is it terrible?
Because, number one, we see the Chiefs. This is all messed up. If I were to rank these tiers, I would definitely have the Chiefs down lower. And so that's where I'm going to focus. I'm going to focus on the Chiefs because I believe the Ravens, as well as the San Francisco 49ers, should be atop of the Kansas City Chiefs. So for me, when I look at these teams, it's not the standard.
I would have the 1 seeds up at the top.
What it sounds like is a resume and who has the best resume.
This isn't LinkedIn.
I mean, that's basically what the Kansas City Chiefs are when you're talking about the Lakers and all that. So for me, when I look at these season comparisons, you look at these teams because we understand it's not the ranking. So let's just look at the seasons, including the playoffs. Look at the points per game. These are real numbers.
Wow.
These 2 teams, the Ravens and the 49ers, produce points. That is something that I know you have to do in order to win games. We'll see if the Chiefs can do it this weekend. Passing touchdowns to interceptions, 31 is that? Wait,
it's a good graphic.
Does Patrick Mahomes play for the Chiefs? Because he 17 interceptions, and then when you look to the right, you got 7 with obviously Lamar and Purdy. Passer rating, Mahomes. What I'm trying to tell you is the Chiefs are last in all these categories. So how in the world are we just trying to take all of what we know the Chiefs were and just mask and bandage and put all this stuff up as if, they're back?
I mean, I'll tell you.
They're not
Because,
back.
I mean, those were regular season numbers. These are the playoff
They
tiers.
were regular season and playoff.
Okay, then that's very odd because in the postseason as the playoff tiers, if the Ravens and Niners offenses are so awesome, how come the Chiefs have scored 53 points this postseason and they're in the 30s?
Oh, they.
Tell me why.
Well,
Tell me why
they
exactly.
played both teams without
Ravens,
They only
defenders.
played one game.
No, well, it's actually
Chiefs
because the
played
Ravens
two.
and Niners have only played one game each. It wasn't
Right.
because of the defenders, it was because of the extra game. But go ahead.
I would like to see Greg's graphic again.
Oh, I don't think that's how teams.
Can I see that graphic again? Dusty! All right. The Niners, those are some high numbers, Wildes.
Yeah, you like
Points per
those.
game, 29 essentially.
They're second
34
behind
to
the Ravens.
12 TD interception. Look at the passer rating.
Why do you
Number
put passer
one.
rating on there, Greg?
Who is the quarterback for that team?
No.
Brock Purdy?
He's a good quarterback.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Greg. That's all I've been wanting to hear. He's
I'm
a
saying-
good quarterback.
You and I
He's
agree.
A very good quarterback.
Oh, well, then you
All right,
added
here
the
we go.
very
I'm with Greg. They should be Baltimore, San Francisco, Kansas City,
Wildes.
Detroit.
Go get these guys in USA
It's
Today.
not the standings.
That
Detroit,
is the standings.
What was Detroit's rate? It was the same as Kansas City.
Yeah.
So I'm putting Kansas City ahead of Detroit.
Right, and they beat Kansas City.
Right. So it's not the standings and all that.
It sounds like a power ranking.
Yeah, I mean,
Those are my power rankings.
Okay,
and
well, that's-
how they should look.
Save
but
them.
look, I like to give the audience something. San Francisco should not be on the bottom, and that is ridiculous. And I like to give people something they can't get elsewhere.
Oh, good.
They could dig. If they really want to go through the all 22 and really get gritty with it, they could.
standing.
But I dug for this. Didn't even get it from Josh or Dusty.
Well, then
Everybody's
might not be
saying,
right, America.
everybody's saying without Debo, the Niners offense is dead, especially Brock Purdy. What in the world can he do without Debo? Because Debo's, 50-50 still? 4 games. Now, they lost 2 games without Debo this year.
Mm-hmm.
But guess who else was out? Trent Williams, the all-pro left tackle.
Yeah.
And guess who was banged up? Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy has played 4 games in the last 2 years without Debo, but with Trent Williams, who will be playing this weekend. And he's 4-0. Greg, points per game is even better than your graphic.
this all last
29, year? No, 3 games last year and 1 this year.
Okay.
Because I'm counting the Detroit game.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, the last week's game as without Debo.
Wait.
4-0 because he was out early.
He was out most of the game.
Yeah, he was out most of the game.
this is why Josh and Dusty wouldn't do this.
4-0, 29.7 points a game, Wildes. And 2 of the teams they beat, Seattle and last week, playoff teams. So they're going to be fine even if Debo can't go. Because Purdy
I understand.
and McCaffrey and Kittle and Ayuk and Trent Williams.
If I'm understanding
are
that
still there.
correctly, last year Brock Purdy played well without Debo. This year in the 2 games without him, he played poorly and they lost. And
No,
this
you
year,
need Trent Williams. You know,
Yeah,
because the offensive line
Got
is
it.
not
Got it.
highly
And
ranked.
this week
it's the
he
worst
went out and Purdy
offensive
played
line of the
poorly. Got it.
teams
Okay, got
still
it. Go ahead.
playing.
Okay, dynasty
Especially
time.
without Trent Williams.
Again, we're going to restart it. Last night, ensconced in honestly the same Buffalo suite, but this time Travis Kelce had his shirt on. A select group of students, academics, and people that are getting Chipotle on Friday fought and toiled and burnt the midnight oil even later to make the best historical segment in all of sports media. Again, it's an honor and a privilege. It's time for Dynasty Tier.
Dynasty tiers. Now,
really
there's
good.
only
I'm
been
looking
a
forward.
select few dynasties, so everyone listed on this is not a full-blown dynasty. They're at the bottom. They could have been or close to dynasty adjacent. Tier 5, we don't need fancy names. The Raiders of the 70s into the 80s, Washington in the 80s, couple Giants teams, and then the Bills. We will show you their resumes. These teams didn't quite get
the
there.
Giants
The
are
Bills
a
should
dynasty?
Well, no, I just said dynasty adjacent, guys. These are all the
Bills
teams
never
that
even
have
won a
multiple
Super Bowl.
championships in a short period of time. Or in the Bills' case, they of course the only team to ever go to 4 straight Super Bowls. There's the resume. They're not dynasties.
Okay,
I understand
got
that.
confused.
I got it, buddy. I said it at the beginning. You were too busy
not
worried
on-
about
we're not on
Friday
the
against
greatest
the Bullets.
dynasties on there, so kind of an odd.
I'm hoping it gets
Says
better.
Tier
dynasty
4.
4 times on the graphic.
Okay, tier 4. Again, there's obviously not 15 dynasties, Wildes. Tier 4, all of these teams, except for the Cowboys of the 70s, won back-to-back. but it was a very short period of time. Green Bay kind of stinks for them because they were great pre-Super Bowl. The Cowboys were a longer period of time in the 70s. If they had won one more of the 2 Super Bowls they lost, they are a full-blown dynasty. Unfortunately, they could not. Now we get to the 6 actual dynasties that have existed. The 92 to 95 Cowboys, the 01 to 04 Patriots, and the Chiefs of right now. And that's pending this weekend. And so we can show you their resumes. Of course, the Cowboys, 3 titles, 3 appearances, 4 conference championship games. The Patriots, 3-3-3. The Chiefs currently 2-3-5, because again, it starts the year they won the Super Bowl. And now the cream of the crop, the best 3. The Patriots over an 8-year stretch, and the Niners over a 9-year stretch. What did they do? The Patriots won 3 rings, went to 5 Super Bowls, and were in the conference championship game every year. The Niners weren't as excellent every season as that Patriots, but they won more. They went to 1 fewer Super Bowl, but won it. And then at the very top, the Steel Curtain. 4 rings in 6 years. 4 Super Bowl appearances, 5 conference championship game appearances, the greatest dynasty in NFL history. So the question I have for the table is this, Brew, because I think we might agree. Let's just say the Chiefs win the next 2 games. Where would you have them on the true dynasties?
Okay, well, I will say this. Let me give this caveat. I personally put New England, and I know Wildes does as well. I put New England all together.
Thank you.
Just like I do with the Spurs. Do you divide the Duncan era?
I think the Spurs is 99 to 07 with another ring on the back end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Okay, I look at the Duncan era as a dynasty.
I like that.
You know, but I put New England together. So I think New England's the greatest. I think the Steel Curtain is second, and I would have the Chiefs third. In your situation, if you split up the Patriots, then I'm probably putting the Steelers obviously first, and then the Chiefs would be right there behind them.
Okay.
Yeah, the Chiefs have to move up a tier. I mean, that would be 3.
It would be
Super Bowl
3
titles
Super
and
Bowls,
4 appearances.
4 appearances, and it would be
6 conference
championships.
Yeah.
They would be. So you would be okay with them being above the? Would they be above the Niners of the '80s, who have the 4 rings? But
Because
it's
it was
spread
so
over
long,
a
and they
longer
missed
period
playoffs
of time.
one of those years.
So
I would put them above
I would as well. I think, and I understand what you guys are saying. My problem for the Patriots, Wildes, and I ask you
I
this
get
as
it.
a Patriots fan, from 05 to 13, can you, in the midst of a dynasty, go 9 seasons without winning a championship? I would argue.
I think it's because the principles are the same. It's still Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
Like that for me is why.
I feel like the dynasty is like a baton that needs to be handed. Remember when I thought we had our gap year? We actually handed the baton to you guys, and I came along with it.
They took it. They took it.
Well,
It wasn't comfy and cozy and pretty.
you know what we should do? Have a little Brady graphic there, and have Brady as the dynasty and throw in the Bucks Super Bowl.
That's not a dynasty.
He's a one-man dynasty like LeBron.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.